हम श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमा ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयति गिरिमित्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्। आपादमौलिपर्यन्तमाकृतं गुरुणा स्मरेत् तेन विघ्नप्रणश्यन्ति सिद्ध्यन्ति च मनोरथाः। श्रीजयप्रतापस्वामिन् गुरुं वन्दे नित्यानन्दं तमाश्रयेत्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Okay, so we will read from Canto 3, text 26, and sorry, yeah, chapter 26 and text 26. Yeah.
Suma Mataji, will you share the screen, please?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, I'm doing. Pranams
Yes,
to
please.
Prabhu. Pranams to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. कर्तृत्वं कारणत्वं च कार्यत्वं चेति लक्षणम् शान्तघोरविमूढत्वं वा स्यादहङ्कृते। कर्तृत्वं कारणत्वं च कार्यत्वं चेति लक्षणम् शान्तघोरविमूढत्वम् इति वा स्यादहङ्कृते। कर्तृत्वं कारणत्वं च कार्यत्वं चेति लक्षणम् शान्तघोरविमूढत्वम् इति वा स्यादहङ्कृते। Okay, someone can maybe read translation and purport.
Hare Krishna. Anasuya Mataji, you can read the translation, Mataji. Sudha Mataji, you can read the purport.
रोज डुबा के खा सकते हैं। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम। Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This false ego is characterized as the doer, as an instrument and as an effect. It is further characterized as serene, active or dull according to how it is influenced by the modes of goodness, passion and ignorance. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams.
Hare Krishna, pranams.
Ahankara or false ego is transformed into the demigods, the controlling directors of material affairs. As an instrument, the false ego is represented as different senses and sense organs, and as a result of the combination of the demigods and the senses, material objects are produced. In the material world, we are producing so many things, and this is called advancement of civilization. But factually, the advancement of civilization is a manifestation of the false ego. By false ego, all material things are produced as objects of enjoyment. One has to cease increasing artificial necessities in the form of material objects. One great Acharya, Narottama Dasa Thakura, has lamented that when one deviates from pure consciousness of Vasudeva or Krishna consciousness, he becomes entangled in material activities. The exact word he uses are Satsanga Chadi Kailo Asate Vilas te karane lagila ye karma bandha phasa. I have given up the pure status of consciousness because I wanted to enjoy the temporary material manifestation. Therefore, I have been entangled in the network of actions and reactions. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the other verses are also related to this 26. So we will quickly finish off all the verses till 30, and then we'll continue the explanation from the beginning. Yeah, 27.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
वैकारिकात् विकुर्वाणान् मनस्तत्त्वम् अजायत यत्सङ्कल्पविकल्पाभ्यां वर्तते कामसम्भवः. Yeah, someone can read.
Shobha Mataji, you can read the translation. Mataji, Anita Mataji, you can read the purport.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji and Mataji, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. From the false ego of goodness, another transformation takes place. From this evolves the mind, whose thoughts and reflections give rise to desire. Hari Bol, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The symptoms of the mind are determination and rejection, which are due to different kinds of desires. We desire that which is favorable to our sense gratification, and we reject that which is not favorable to sense gratification. The material mind is not fixed, but the very same mind can be fixed when engaged in the activities of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, as long as the mind is on the material platform, it is hovering, and all this rejection and acceptance is as a temporary. It is stated that he whose mind is not fixed in Krishna consciousness must hover between acceptance and rejection. However advanced a man is in academic qualifications, as long as he is not fixed in Krishna consciousness, he will simply accept and reject and will never be able to fix his mind on a particular subject matter. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay, 28. यद्विदुर्ह्य अनिरुद्धाख्यं ऋषिकाणाम् अधीश्वरम् शारदेन्दीवर श्यामं सम्राध्यं योगिभिर्शनैः.
Hare Krishna. Karpagavalli Mataji, you can read the translation. Mataji. Prashanti Mataji, you can read the purport.
Thank you, Mataji. Translation, translated by Prabhupada Ki Jai. The mind of the living entity is known by the name Lord Aniruddha, the supreme ruler of the senses. He possesses a bluish-black form, as lotus flower, growing in the autumn. He is found slowly by the yogis. Thank you, Mataji. Sandarsana, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada Ki Jai. The system of yoga entails controlling the mind, and the lord of the mind is Aniruddha. It is stated in that Aniruddha is four-handed with Sudarshan Chakra, conch shell, club, and lotus flower. There are 24 forms of Vishnu, each differently named. Among these 24 forms, Sankarshana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Vasudeva are depicted very nicely in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where it is stated that Aniruddha is worshipped by the yogis. Meditation upon voidness is a modern invention of the fertile brain of some speculator. Actually, the process of yoga meditation, as prescribed in this verse, should be fixed upon the form of Aniruddha. By meditating on Aniruddha, one can become free from the agitation of acceptance and rejection. When one's mind is fixed upon Aniruddha, one gradually becomes God realized. He approaches the pure status of Krishna consciousness, which is the ultimate goal of yoga. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Pranams.
Thank you, Mataji. We'll go to the 29th. That is the last one. Sorry, last second. तेजसा तु विकुर्वाणाद् बुद्धि तत्त्वम् अभूत् सति द्रव्य स्फुरणा विज्ञानम् इन्द्रियाणाम् अनुग्रहः.
Shanti Mataji, you can read the translation. Vrishabhanu Mataji, you can read the purport.
Translation में Srila Prabhupada की जय. By transformation of the false ego in passion, intelligence takes birth. O virtuous lady, the functions of intelligence are to help in ascertaining the nature of objects when they come into view and to help the senses.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Intelligence is the discriminating power to understand an object, and it helps the senses make choices. Therefore, intelligence is supposed to be the master of the senses. The perfection of intelligence is attained when one becomes fixed in the activities of Krishna consciousness. By the proper use of intelligence, one's consciousness is expanded, and the ultimate expansion of consciousness is Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Mataji. Last one. संशयोऽथा विपर्यासो निश्चय स्मृतिरेव च स्वाप इत्युच्यते बुद्धेर्लक्षणं वृत्तितः पृथक्.
Gandharvika Mataji, you can read the translation, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Doubt, misapprehension, correct apprehension, memory and sleep as determined by their different functions are said to be the distinct characteristics of intelligence. Gandharvika Mataji, are you there, Mataji? Hare Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada ki jai. Doubt is one of the important functions of
Mataji, shall I
intelligence.
read? Mataji, Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Mataji. Yes, Mataji, you can continue. Hare
I'll
Krishna.
read the purport. Yeah, thank you. Doubt is one of the important functions of the intelligence. Blind acceptance of something does not give evidence of intelligence. Therefore, the word samshaya is very important. In order to cultivate intelligence, one should be doubtful in the beginning. But doubting is not very favorable when information is received from the proper source. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that doubting the words of the authority is the cause of destruction. As described in the Patanjali Yoga system, pramana viparyaya vikalpa nidra samrityaha. By intelligence only, one can understand things as they are. By intelligence only can one understand whether or not he is the body. The study to determine whether one's identity is spiritual or material begins in doubt. When one is able to analyze his actual position, the false identification with the body is detected. This is viparyasa. When false identification is detected, then real identification can be understood. Real understanding is described here as nischaya, or proved experimental knowledge. This experimental knowledge can be achieved when one has understood the false knowledge. By experimental or proved knowledge, one can understand that he is not the body but spirit soul. Smriti means memory and swapha means sleep. Sleep is also necessary to keep the intelligence in working order. If there is no sleep, the brain cannot work nicely. In Bhagavad Gita, it is especially mentioned that persons who regulate eating, sleeping, and other necessities of the body in the proper proportion become very successful in the yoga process. These are some of the aspects of the analytical study of intelligence as described in both the Patanjali Yoga system and the Sankhya philosophy system of Kapila Deva in Shrimad Bhagavatam. Thank you, Mataji Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thanks to everybody, because reading Prabhupada's purports are important, although they are long. We have several verses, but still more than our explanation, understanding and reading the purports are more important. Then, okay, we can further elaborate and discuss on this. So, this chapter, which is about entitled as the fundamental principles of material nature, where it is explained how the transformation happens in the creation. So in the verse 26, it is said, Kartritvam Karanatvam cha Karyatvam Cheti Lakshanam Shanta Ghora Vimudatvam Iti Vasyad Ana Ahankrite. So the characteristics of false ego is given here. What are the characteristics of false ego? Kartritvam, and then there is Karanatvam, and then there is Karyatvam. Kartritvam has been translated as the doer. That means because of the influence of the false ego, we think we are the doer. But in reality, we are not the doers. In what sense are we not the doers? That also has to be understood. And when I'm committing sinful activity, I cannot say I'm not the doer because the false ego character is kartritvam. So that is why I'm not the doer. No, it is not like that. So when it says kartritvam, which is the doer, is nothing but it is the influence of the three modes of nature forces a person to perform activities. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimuhdatma kartahamiti manyate. Same verse is repeated in the Bhagavad Gita. Ahankara vimuhdatma, the bewildered, egoistic, false ego influenced soul, kartahamiti manyate. He thinks that he is the doer. But in reality, we are not the doers in the sense that we have not created the body. The body has been given to us in the 84 lakh species. And the senses are not created by us. The senses are given by the Supreme Lord. It is a part of the creation of the material world. The senses has been imparted to us. To every embodied jiva, the senses have been imparted. So we are not the creators of the senses. We are not creators of the sense objects. We are not the creators of the body. We are not the creators of the mind. We are not the creators of the intelligence. We are not the creators of ourselves, that is the soul. Nor is our biological father or mother creators of our body, senses, mind, intelligence, etc. Nothing is created by us. Everything has been given to us. Everything has been imparted. Everything has been given to us. And we only desire and will, as a jiva, as a spirit soul, we have the intrinsic nature of thinking, feeling, thinking, willing, and desiring. We can only desire. But the execution part is only possible because of the mercy of the Lord, because without the Lord's mercy, there is no such thing called as senses, sense objects, the material body, and mind, intelligence, all of this. Indriyana manaschasmi. Krishna says, of all the indriyas, I am the mind. Of everything best, I am that. So we are not the doers. We have no control on our body. If we have to blink our eyes, then it is only through the sanction of a demigod we are able to blink our eyes. If we have to move our hand or a leg, then without the mercy of that demigod, we cannot move. So all the limbs and all the senses, there is a presiding deity, there is a presiding demigod for it. And because of their control and because of their allowing us to move, we are able to act. That is physical part. Even from a very subtle point of view, when we try to achieve something, when we endeavor hard but we do not get results, we say, it is because of my grahachara, or it is because of my karma. Yes, it is a fact, because the demigods have placed us in such a position according to our previous karma that we may achieve certain such and such things, and we may not achieve certain such and such things. So that is why nothing is in our hands. We are not the doers. We can only desire, but the deliverer is somebody else. It is the Supreme Lord and the demigods. So kartritva means that, false ego, it forces us to think that we are the doer. But we are identifying ourselves with the material body, and then we are thinking that, I am the doer. But in reality, nor are we the body, nor are we the senses or the mind or the intelligence, and we are not the doer. So false ego, it forcibly makes us think that, we are the doers. Then the next one is karanatvam, instruments. What are those instruments which are forcing us to think that we are the doers? Those instruments are the senses and the sense objects. They are the instruments. So karanatvam means instruments. And then there is karyatvam. Karyatvam is the effect of the false ego. The effect of the influence of false ego is known as karyatvam, and that is reflected in the form of material objects. I am just repeating what is given in the first line of the purport, and nothing complicated. Whatever Prabhupada has written in the first line of the first purport, I'm just repeating it. So the false ego, initially it transforms itself into demigods, the controlling demigods, the controllers, who actually control all our different limbs, organs, senses, etc. And we think that we are doing, but no, they are actually doing it. So this kartritvam is nothing but they transform into demigods. Then there is karanatvam. Karanatvam is nothing but senses and the sense organs. And karyatvam is nothing but the material objects. And very interestingly, Prabhupada says that by false ego, all material things are produced as objects of senses, or as objects of enjoyment. So this is the nature. In this material world, we are producing so many things, unwanted things, so many things, and this is called as the advancement of civilization. But actually, it is an advancement of the manifestation of false ego. Very interesting. All that paraphernalia that we have around, all the facilities, all the comforts, all that we do, hard working to earn money is nothing but to increase things, to increase unnecessary necessities, to make our lives comfortable or to give pleasure to our body. And this is nothing but this is the manifestation or advancement of the manifestation of false ego. Everything begins with, the influence of the false ego. That's why, in the 7th canto, it is said, Pumsas thri maithuni bhavametam tayor mitho hridaya granthi mahu ata griha kshetra suta apta vitta janasya mohoyam ahammameti. When husband and wife come together, there is a strong knot, hridaya granthi. Then what follows is nothing but it is an expansion of the false ego. That is Ata griha, kshetra, suta, apta, vitta. That is nothing but house, land, property, paraphernalia, son, children, friends, relatives. Vitta is nothing but money. Janasya mohoya mahammameti. Me and mine. I am this, he is different, so this is mine, and they are all mine. Aham mameti. So, I am nijo parovetti ganana laguchetasam. Udara sarvaevaite vasudhaivaka kutumbakam. I am nijo parovetti. This is mine, that is others. And nija means mine, ours, personal. So, I am nijo parovetti. Anyone who does this kind of ganana is lagu chetasam. He is a narrow-minded fool. He is on the bodily concept of life. But udara sarva evaite vasudaivaka kutumbakam. So, but somebody who is, very magnanimous, udara swabhav, udara charitam tu vasudaivaka kutumbakam. So, but when he sees everything is belonging to the Supreme Lord, we are all children of the Supreme Lord. Nothing belongs to anybody, but we all belong to the Lord and things belong to the Lord. Then he is known as Udara Charita. So he is a broad-minded person. So the false ego influences us to think that, this is mine, that is mine, this belongs to mine, and that belongs to me. But in reality, we come empty-handed, we go empty-handed. We are aware of that fact also, but we are unable to put that into practical realization. So this is how, the false ego works. False ego is an amazing creation of the Supreme Lord. And in the creation, all this chapter talks about the creation, what actually happens in the creation. In the creation, initially there is pradhana. Pradhana is nothing but the unmanifest energy of the Supreme Lord. Unmanifest, and there are no modes. There are no modes like goodness, passion, ignorance. All that is not there. It's a vacuum. It's an entire vacuum. It's a material sky. It is an entire vacuum. There is Mahavishnu seated there, but there's nothing, no ingredients, nothing. It's completely vacuum. That is called as pradhana. It's an unmanifest energy of the Supreme Lord. And there are no modes, everything is in equilibrium. There's no sattva, raja, tamo, guna. Then when this pradhana is actually, when the Lord visions this pradhana, the Upanishads say, sa ikshata. Sa ikshata means when the Lord saw this unmanifest energy of pradhana with his eyes under the influence of time, then this pradhana got agitated and then it got converted into Mahatattva. Mahatattva is nothing but the agitated, manifest energy of the Supreme Lord. That's how it is. So, agitated, manifest energy of the Supreme Lord. So, in this Mahatattva appears Sattva, Raja, Tamoguna, all these three modes of nature. Now, we cannot, with our eyes, one cannot see Sattva, Raja, Tamoguna. It is only represented by symptoms and characteristics. So these three gunas are nothing but they are agitated form of the pradhana. Pradhana was in equilibrium, but when it got agitated by the Lord's vision and the influence of time, it becomes Mahatattva with the three modes, Sattva, Raja, Tamoguna. Then when there is agitation of these three modes, then ahankara, which is nothing but the vision, is actually called as a Shambhu. And the vision of the Supreme Lord is known as Shambhu as per Brahma Samhita. So this vision is the representation of the false ego. So when this false ego, which is represented by Lord Shiva actually, so when this vision, when it interacts with Sattva, Raja, Tamoguna in the Mahatattva, then there is actually creation. The primary elements are created. Like ahankar, when it is interacting with the mode of ignorance, that is tamoguna, first it creates the 5 tanmatras. Tanmatras are nothing but the, the objects of senses, like there is a sound, there is a touch, there is form, there is taste, there is smell. So these are nothing but the tanmatras. Like in Bhagavad Gita also we hear, right? Matra sparshastu kaunteya So matra. So matra is not mother, but it is the tanmatras. So it is the what do you call the sense perception. So the five tanmatras are created, and from the five tanmatras are actually the five pancha mahabhuta are created, and the earth, water, fire, air, ether, and these five are created. All this happens with the interaction of the false ego with the mode of ignorance with tamoguna. This is what happens. The pancha tanmatras and the pancha mahabhuta. And then when the ahankara interacts with the mode of passion, which is the rajoguna, then the 10 karmendriyas, 10 jnanendriyas, and also intelligence and prana. These things are all created. So 10 karmendriyas, 5 karmendriyas, 5 jnanendriyas. We all know what a karmendriya and jnanendriya, I'm sure. So I don't want to explain it. And then intelligence also is created because of the influence of interaction of the ahankara with um, passion, with rajoguna. Then the ahankara with interaction in the mode of goodness actually creates the demigods and the mind also. That is, uh, uh, you know, mind is a product of interaction of ahankara in the mode of goodness. So mind and the demigods. Now these demigods are not the demigods like Varuna, Indra, Chandra, Vayu. No, because even Brahma is also not created. This is a primary creation by the Supreme Lord. Just that, Pradhan is agitated, now Mahatattva has appeared. You are not having demigods like Indra, Chandra, and others. These are the demigods who are nothing but they are Vedas personified. They are also considered as demigods, but they are all Nitya Parshads of the Supreme Lord. So these demigods appear. That is why in the universal covering, we have the each and every universe, which is like an anda, like a Brahmanda. There are layers of covering, like earth, water, fire, air, ether. Each of these layers, there is a presiding deity of that element. So those deities are created, and the Vedas personified. We have this Veda Stuti in the 10th canto of Shrimad Bhagavatam. So all these demigods are created. And then later on, Brahma comes, and then other demigods are created. So this way, the Ahankar creates, different elements in the mode of ignorance, then different senses in the mode of passion, and different demigods and mind in the mode of goodness. That's how it is created. And they're all represented also by the Supreme Lords at different forms, like Sankarshana. We have the Chaturvyuha, that is the deities of Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Niruddha, Vasudeva. So in that, Lord Sankarshana is actually representing the creation and destruction of this universe, because from Mahasankarshana is Mahavishnu. From Mahavishnu only the creation happens, and he also destroys it. So from his Shwasa, he is creating, and by his inhaling, he is destroying everything. So he is a representative of the creation and destruction. Basically, he is the deity representing the elements, the primary elements and the secondary elements of the creation. Then Lord Vasudeva is actually the representative of the senses. And then Lord Pradyumna is the representative of the intelligence, and Lord Aniruddha is represented by mind. They are the presiding deities of mind, intelligence, senses, and the Jada Vastu, the elements. So each one has been, allocated that kind of a presiding deity role for each of these elements within the creation. Now, mind, all the elements, Jadavastu, the senses, intelligence, mind, everything is matter. Everything is matter. Some are gross matter, some are subtle matter, but all of them are matter. But the representation is given by Sankarshana, Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. This is how it is. So, this is in short, the creation. Then later on, Brahma comes and Brahma creates, and so many things happen. Everything is there in the third canto. In the beginning, also, it is mentioned, how the creation happens. That is the secondary creation, which begins with Brahma. The same creation also it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, where in the 8th chapter, Arjuna is asking Lord Krishna. He asks 7 questions, and that 7 questions actually comprise of the entire creation. Very beautiful, excellent questions he asks. First, he says, Kim Tad Brahma? Kim Adhyatmam? Kim Karma Purushottama? Adibhutam? Kim Proktam? Adidevam Kim Uchyate? These are the 5 questions. Then he says, Adiyagyam Katham Kotra Dehesmin Madhusudana Prayana Kale cha Katham Gneyosi Niyatatmabhi. Then he says, the 6th question is Adiyagya. Then the last question is Prayana Kale cha Katham. So at the time, at the end of life, how do we, remember or represent the Adiyagya. So totally 7 questions are asked by Arjuna. And then Lord Krishna, he answers to all these 7 questions. What does he say? He says, Aksharam Brahma Paramam. That which is indestructible, it is known as Brahma. First question was actually, Kim Tad Brahma? Brahma is nothing but spirit. So, Aksharam Brahma Paramam. That which is indestructible is known as spirit or antimatter. That is answer to the first question. Then Lord says, Swabhava Dhyatma Muchyate. The Swabhava of that Brahma is Adhyatma Muchyate. The nature, the Swabhava, the nature of the spirit is actually spiritual. That is the understanding. Spiritual is only related to spirit. It is not related to matter. This is the answer for the second question, because Arjuna had asked Kim Adhyatmam. Then the third question he asked was Kim Karma Purushottama. So the Lord answers Bhuta Bhavodbhava Karo Visargaha Karma Sangnita. Bhuta, that means all the living entities, the embodied jivas. Bhava Udbhava Karo. Whatever bhava, whatever desires we have in our heart, which creates the impetus for us to do some activity. Bhuta bhavodbhava karo. In visarga, in this creation, that is karma samnitaha. That is called as karma. So this is the answer. So the influence to do something, some activity within the modes of nature in the material world is known as karma. Because there's no karma in the spiritual world. So this is the, and third answer to the third question of Arjuna. Then the Lord says, Adibhutam ksharo bhavaha purushas-chadi daivatam. Adibhuta means matter, material. Even the living entities who are embodied, they are also known as bhutas. So Adibhutam ksharo bhava. Kshara means destructible. It is not akshara, it is destructible. Earlier he told about Brahma, Adhyatma, Karma. Now he is telling what is Adibhuta. Adibhuta is nothing but that which is destructible, which is nothing but the material creation. Adibhuta is nothing but the material creation, the material embodied jivas, the matter, the Pancha Mahabhutas, Pancha Tanmatras. All these are destructible. So it is Adibhutam Ksharo Bhava. Then he says, Purushas Chadi Daivatam. Well, the Supreme Lord, Purusha, he is known as Adidaiva. Adidaiva because that Purusha is in the representation of the entire universe. In the entire universe, in the Virata Rupa, he is present as demigods. He is present as big creations, mountains, hills, etc. Everything. So Purushascha Adidaivata. So the Adidaiva, the entire creation, including the demigods, is known as is represented by the Virata Purusha. So that is why he is known as Purushascha Adidaivata. Then Adiyagyo Aham Eva Atra Dehe Brahtamvara. So I am also the Adi Yajna. That is nothing but Paramatma. Paramatma is also known as Adi Yajna. And he is seated in the hearts of all the embodied jivas. Deha Bhatam. So he is seated in the hearts of all the living entities. Simple, in answering these 7 questions, he, completely gave a synopsis of the entire creation. Very interesting. And of course, the last question, he says, Antakalecha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram iha prayati samadbhavam. That is the answer for the seventh question. Because the seventh question was, Arjuna had asked that, prayana kalecha katham jneyosi niyata. In the end of my life, what should I be doing? So that was the last question. So the Lord speaks about Brahma, speaks about Adhyatma, he speaks of Karma, then he speaks about Adibhuta, then he speaks of Adidaiva, then he speaks about Adiyagya, then he speaks about Antakale, what we should do. So he is simply speaking about Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Karma, and then Kala. In the due course of time, one remembers the Supreme Lord and, attains emancipation from this material world. So the subject matter of Bhagavad Gita, these 5 things, which also represents about the subject matter of the entire creation, is spoken in Bhagavad Gita. The elaborate description of the creation is given in Bhagavatam. The synopsis is given in Bhagavad Gita, how it is created. So it all begins with false ego. False ego is the most difficult thing to overcome. Nobody can so easily overcome false ego. It is impossible because it is the most difficult task. Nobody can actually. Daivi hesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya. One can not easily, overcome. And the solution Srila Prabhupada gives in the purport is that one has to cease increasing artificial necessities in the form of material objects. And Narottam Das Thakur says it is possible only if we take shelter of pure devotees. Satsanga chhadi kainu asater vilas te karne lagre je karma bandh phans. So anyone who gives up the satsanga, then he will take shelter of asat, asate vilas. Te karane lagirije karma bandha phas. Because of that, one ends up being bound, entangled in this material bondage, which we do not want. So only by the process of association, by taking shelter of devotees, one can actually overcome this entanglement in this material world and overcome the false ego and be situated in the real ego, that is Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. So that even the great demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva are also influenced. Brahma is influenced by false ego. He himself, acknowledges it in the 10th canto, in the 14th chapter. During the Purushottama Masa, we read this 14th chapter from the 10th canto, where, it includes Brahma's prayers. So in that prayers, Lord Brahma is actually praying. He's saying that, Pashyeshamena mananta adye paratmani tvai api mai maine Mayam vitatye kshitumatma vaibhavam yaham kiyat aichanivar chiragno. So the meaning of this is Pashyeshame nari mananta ade. Oh Pashya, Pashya means oh see, Isha, oh Supreme Lord. Pashyeshame Anarya, I am Anarya. Anarya means irresponsible, ill behavior. Because he had tested the Lord with his Maya Shakti by kidnapping the abducting the Gopa boys and the calves. So he's telling, oh my Lord, after paying obeisances to the Lord, he's saying, Pasha Ishame. Oh Lord, see, look at me, look at my face. I am Anarya. Just like Krishna tells, Anarya Jashtam Asvargyam Akirtim Karam Arjuna. Like that. Look at me, I am Anarya. Oh, but you are Ananta Adye. Your glories are unlimited. Paratmani Tvai Api Mai Mai. You are the master of all the great illusionists. Mai Maini. He is the master of all great illusionists, and I attempted to test you with my illusion. Mayam vitatyekshitum. With my illusory potency, I tried to test you, who is the master of all the great illusionists. So it is like, like they say, at least I know in Kannada, they say, Suryan ke torch. Like, you are trying to test or, you're trying to illuminate the sun with the torchlight. This is what I was trying to do. This is how, Brahma is actually speaking, saying, Mayam vitatyek shutumatma vaibhavam. Your vaibhava, I was trying to test with my Maya. Iham kiya naicham ivarchi ragnav. He also gives this example. Ivarchi ragnav. That means Archi is the Surya. So Archi, Surya is being tested by Agni. You take a fire, a fireball, or a fire, a stick draped with cloth which is having fire, torch, and then you're trying to look at the sun. It's foolishness. So Brahma was doing this. So he was very much repentant, and he said that, I was influenced by ahankar. He says, Athakshamasvachyutame rajo bhuvo hyajanatastvat pradagishamanina ajavalepandhatamondha chakshusha yeshonukampyo mayinathavaniti. He says, Athakshamasva, oh my Lord, oh Achyuta, please forgive me. Me rajo bhuvo. I was born in Rajoguna. Actually, he was not born in Rajoguna. Out of humility, Lord Brahma is telling, Rajo Bhuvo. I was born, I was influenced by Rajoguna. Hyajanatastvad Pratagishamanina. I did not know your glories. I did not understand that you are the Supreme Lord. And I was thinking myself as Prithag, Ishamanina. I was thinking myself as separate, independent Lord. Prithag means separate. Ishamanina means thinking of oneself as the controller. I was thinking I am the controller, I am the creator of the universe. I was thinking myself as separate, independent Lord. You are a separate Lord. But my Lord, I realized it is my mistake. I am just a puppet in your hands. I am just a menial servant. I was influenced by my own false ego. He says, Ajava lepandha tamondha chakshusha. Lep means covering. What was I covered with? Andha tamo andha chakshusha. I was covered with tama, with ignorance. And andha chakshusha. I became blinded. Please forgive me, Please consider me as a child, as a little child, stool passing child in your lap. Please forgive me. So this is how, Brahma was praying. Now you can imagine, Brahma is saying that, I was influenced by Maya, I was influenced by false ego. Now, who are we? We are nothing. We are absolutely nothing. We are already influenced. We only have to pray to great devotees that, we overcome this influence of Maya, we overcome this influence of false ego, or else, it will simply kill us, and we will not even know that we are killed, because we are haunted. We are not Krishna Graha Grahita. We are actually haunted by Maya. So we are Maya Graha Grahita. So we are haunted by the ghost called as Maya, a witch called as Maya. So that's how it is. Jagadananda Pandit says, Jagadananda Pandit, one of the associates of Lord Chaitanya, has written a book, Prema Vivarta. In that he says, Pishachi paile jenamati channa hoy, Maya grasta jiver hoy se bhav udoy. It means, Pishachi paile jenamati channa hoy. One who is haunted by a ghost, his mati channa hoy. He goes crazy. What is he doing? He himself does not understand. Nobody understands, because he goes crazy. He's running, jumping, climbing pole, shouting, screaming, so many things, So that is a haunted person. In the same way, Maya ghrast jiver hoy se bhavdoy. The same way, when a jiva is captured by Maya, the ghost called as Maya, Maya ghrast, captured by Maya. Say bhavdoy, he also behaves in the same way. He also acts like foolishly. Me, my body, my house, my car, my job, my family. He is my enemy. He is my friend. He is also trapped in this. But in reality, nothing is related to the jiva. Because asango heyam purushaha. Anything which is matter is not related to the jiva. Jiva is only related to the Supreme Lord and the other jivas who are equally engaged in devotional service to the Supreme Lord. So that is why Vasudhaiva Kutumbam is real. But the other so-called material relationships are all false. They are Maya Grasta Jiva. So that is how it is. So 11th canto of Shrimad Bhagavatam very clearly mentions how this Ahankara has the influence on our intelligence, and then it forces the intelligence to think that you are the body, and intelligence gives this information to the mind saying that accept that you are body. Then the mind tells the senses you are the body, so enjoy, help the body enjoy, and the senses engage in sense objects to give pleasure to the body. But in reality, there is no pleasure because we are not the body. The tickling sensation of the senses is accepted as pleasure and pain. But in reality, they do not exist at all. That is only sense perception. Sense perception means it is a perception. It is an experience which we are going through, thinking it as happiness and suffering. But in reality, it is not existing because you are the soul, you are not the body. So the body is anyway perishable. It is jada vastu. You can't say earth, water, fire, air, ether has pleasure or pain. No, it is jada vastu. The body is also jada. Then how is it possible that earth, water, fire, air, ether, the constituents of this body, can experience pleasure? It is because of the tickling of the senses. But in reality, the body is not experiencing it. It is jada vastu. The Atma is also not experiencing it because Atma is beyond matter. It is antimatter. It has no experience of material suffering and pleasure. So the body is not experiencing it. The Atma is not experiencing it. How is it that, we are able to experience something? It is because of the sense perception which acts under the guidance of mind and intelligence, which is acting under the mastermind of the false ego. It is a false ego which is forcing us to think that, you are experiencing pleasure and pain because it is forcing us to think that you are the body, which in reality we are not. It's very easy to speak theoretically, but this needs practical realization. How, the false ego is the one which is the cause of our, bondage in this material world. And it's not so easy to, overcome. Now we are thinking, like, um when will this end? It will end with death. There's no doubt. When the body perishes, then, there's no experience of happiness or pain. But until then, what should we do? Krishna says, tolerate it. Matra sparshastha kaunteya shita ushna sukha dukkha daha agama payuno anityastam stitikshasva bharat. So the pleasure and pain of this world is like the changing seasons of summer and winter, or like, uh, so one has to learn to tolerate it. One cannot react to it. If you react, then we are entangled in the bondage. But if we do not react and we tolerate it, then we easily overcome the influence of the false ego. So tolerance is the only solution in in the material world so long we are alive. But when we give up our body based on a consciousness, either we may get entangled or we may get liberated. So then once and for all, we are freed from the false ego if we are in a better consciousness, we are situated in a better consciousness to go back to the spiritual world. So many interesting things are there in Bhagavatam. I don't know. I don't have time now. But 11th canto is the right canto for us to understand about false ego, mind, influence of, intelligence. Intelligence needs viveka. Prabhupada writes in one of his purports here that the mind's job, is sankalpa and vikalpa, accepting and rejecting. It has no discrimination. It is foolish. But the symptoms of the intelligence is that it has viveka. Intelligence also has a doubt. When we doubt, then we come to the right conclusion. Then, when it is purified by the knowledge of the Shastra, then intelligence has the right viveka to discriminate between good and bad and take the right decision. But when the intelligence is misguided, then we go to hell because we will not care for the scriptural injunctions. Scripture says, do this, do this, do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And when you don't have knowledge of scriptures, you don't care. We don't do it. यह शास्त्र विधिम उत्सृज्य वर्तते कामकारतः न स सिद्धिम अवाप्नोति न सुखम न पराम गतिम. Neither he attains happiness nor he attains perfection, no success, he will perish. Who? Shastra Vidhi Utsreja, one who gives up their scriptural injunctions. So that is why the intelligence is empowered, intelligence is made stronger by the Shastra Chakshu. And then with that Viveka, one can discriminate good and bad, and that will lead us on the right path to escape from this material bondage. So these are the symptoms of the intelligence. The viveka, the discrimination power is there with the intelligence. Mind does not have discrimination. It just accepts and rejects. So all the great yogis, they're meditating on Aniruddha. As this verse 28 says, they're controlling their senses. And then asanyatatmana yogo dushprapati me matihi. So one who's not controlled, it is the Lord is dushprap. He is very difficult to be obtained. The control of senses, control of the mind, intelligence is needed, without which one cannot attain perfection. And what else is there? And the 30th verse talks about doubt, misapprehension, correct apprehension, memory, sleep. They are all determined as the functions of the intelligence. So sleep, nidra alasya, pramadibhesh. So nidra alasya pramada is considered as a mode of ignorance in Bhagavad Gita. But if you understand properly, that nidra, sometimes when we are in very deep sleep, then when we wake up, we feel very satisfied. We feel very satisfied in the deep sleep. The reason is because there was no agitation of the mind and the intelligence. And the mind and intelligence is constantly thinking of, doing this, doing that. In the dream state, the mind and intelligence is very active and is always continuously thinking, dreaming so many things. So we are never satisfied when we are in the dreaming state. But when we are in the deep state, deep sleep, that time it is not swapna, it is shushupti. Shushupti is deep sleep. Swapna is dreaming. Jagrata avastha is awake. Kutastha is spiritual Krishna consciousness. So when we are in shushupti, deep sleep, the mind and intelligence stops functioning. And it is on the sthara of the Atma. That is why when we wake up, we feel very happy, very refreshed. We were in deep sleep because the mind and the intelligence was not present. It was not acting. It was, it had stopped functioning. And that is how, it was giving pleasure to us. And this was experienced. Now, who is the experiencer? The soul, the Atma was the experiencer. But yet, Bhagavad Gita says, Nidra alasya pramadibhis. These are all symptoms of the mode of ignorance. It is because although there is pleasure in this deep sleep, it is still considered as ignorance because we have not realized ourselves as the Atma. Jivera Swarup, Hoy Krishna and Nityadas. That experience is still not there. We have only realized that, I feel happy when there is no influence of mind and intelligence in my sleep. So that is good, but it is not complete realization because the realization that I am the Atma is the most important. That way, this The sleep is considered as, still in the mode of ignorance without Krishna consciousness. So we can experience that. Then doubt, yes, I already discussed about that. Okay, so I will stop here. Many more things are there. I don't want this to appear very dry because the topic of false ego itself is like that. So I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anyone has any questions can please ask.
Thank you, Prabhu, for making it so clear cut. Explanations. Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you. Mataji's, Prabhuji's, questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, a short question. What is the precise meaning of Viveka? Exact meaning?
Viveka is that discrimination of the intelligence which is obtained after the Shastra, when we have the vision of the scriptures, Shastra Chakshu.
Okay, Prabhu.
So, for example, intelligence can do discrimination, good and bad. Now, my intelligence will discriminate that this is a bad restaurant because they don't cook with hygiene there. But this restaurant is good because they are very hygienic and very good food is cooked there. I will go there. This is material discrimination. This is done by the intelligence. But when we go through the Shastra, when we have Shastra Chakshu, then Viveka is obtained. And Viveka tells, the intelligence says both are shit because we have to take Krishna Prasadam. So we dump both. There is no good or bad restaurant. Everything is bad. So we take Krishna Prasad. So Viveka is obtained only through Shastra Chakshu. That is the answer.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Wonderful explanation. Thank you so much. Pranams, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Meenakshi Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, all ego in the material world can be classified as false ego, isn't it?
All
ego in the material world can be classified as false ego, isn't it? Am I right?
Yes, exactly correct. False ego has various forms, Mataji. False ego begins with the creation. In false ego, because of the influence of the false ego, there is avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, all the way. And then there is, the creation of Brahma also in the form of tamas, tamisra, andatamisra, moha, mahamoha, and tamas. Many levels and many variations of false ego are there. Importance of my own body, it is false ego. This person is my family member, false ego. This car is mine, false ego. So like that, there are different levels. This country is mine. For my country, I will fight. I will kill Pakistan. Because of thinking of Pakistan, next life, he is born in Pakistan as a Muslim. Because of false ego. Because, he's thinking foolish. Because we are not the body, we are not the country, we are not the nation, we are not Karnataka, we are not Kannadiga, we are not body, we are not, the family is not mine. This material creation is not ours. So different levels, different layers of false ego is there. So, but yes, the false ego is the one which has entrapped us in this world.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Padmashri Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. In fact, the Prakriti Kriyamanani verse also you explained, which I had the doubt for a long time. Prabhuji, my question is, my understanding from what you told in today's class is from Pradhana, when it is mixed with the three modes, different Mahatattva manifests. Then what is Hiranmaya, Prabhuji? What is difference between Hiranmaya and Pradhana?
Actually, Hiranmaya, the word Hiran is gold. So the globe the universe, the Brahmanda, it looks like a golden egg. There is a golden hue. The hue means, color. The hue is golden in color. That is why it is known as Hiranyagarbha or Hiranyamaya. Lord Brahma is also known as Hiranyagarbha. The Brahmanda is also known as Hiranyagarbha because it is a garbha where all the jivas are taking birth or who are coming into existence. So the word Hiran is nothing but it is representing gold, a golden hue. So that's how the word has come. Initially, when the pradhana, when there is no manifestation of the three modes of nature, when there is no interaction of the false ego with the three modes of nature, in that, there is a golden hue. That is how the vacuum is. These are all theoretical. So in reality, we don't know how it, we don't see a picture with, golden hue or something like that. But this is the understanding.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Yes, Prabhuji, it is actually very abstract to understand. Actually.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, is there a specific reason why Brahma is also known that way, Prabhuji? Hiranyamaya?
Yeah, Brahma is also known as Hiranyagarbha because he is born in what do you call in this golden egg, which is his place of birth. So
Okay.
just because he's born from this Hiranyagarbha, he himself is also known as Hiranyagarbha. He is also known as Swayambhu also.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
He is known as
So,
Aja
Mama,
because he is not born, so he is known as Aja. But in reality, he is born. So like that, he is known as Swayambhu because he is born without father, mother. So he has unlimited number of names.
Suma Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji pranams. Prabhuji, you said one shloka, Prabhuji, that Brahma prayers offering to Lord Krishna.
Yes.
Pashe Manarim, which is a reference, Prabhuji. Can
That
you
is in
please
the
tell?
14th chapter of the 10th canto, Mataji.
Shloka number, Prabhuji?
Shloka number, let me search, Mataji, 1 second.
I searched it, but I did not get it, Prabhuji. That's why.
Okay. Pasheshaminarimanandamadhye paratmani tvayapi mayama. It is 10:14:9 and 10:14:10.
Thank you, Prabhuji. 10:14:9. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Pronounced.
Yeah. Okay.
Krishnamurti Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranams Prabhuji.
Hey Krishna, Krishnamurti Prabhu.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
in Mankutimana Kagga, Nambidano Prahalada, Nambadiha, Hiranyaksha, both were liberated. Whereas we ourselves, sometimes we believe, sometimes we are not believing. So our position is nothing but in Mankutima DVD sales, some reference he says. By hearing all these classes, your explanation, we were becoming cleansing our hearts. It is possible to cleanse our heart. And then thing is, Lord Brahma himself tested Swayam Bhagavan. And we are also doing the same mistakes again and again, every moment to moment, by false ego. So Prabhuji, thing is, we are not so intelligent class people. And we are not so much in Shastra's knowledge also. Thing is, how we can be in the how we can know the facts, and it is to be implemented in our life by seeing all the material things. If we say all are as per your explanation, everything is material things. Everything is so full of false ego, false ego. So how we have to, in a simple way, we have to follow this and analyze it and apply in our life, in our personal life, Prabhuji.
Okay. Good, nice question. So we should see, what scriptures are telling us. The Shastra tells us there's one very beautiful verse. It says, व्याधस्याचरणं ध्रुवस्य च वयो विद्या गजेन्द्रस्य किम् कुब्जायां किमु नाम रूपमधिकं किं तत्सुधाम्नो धनम् वंशको विदुरस्य यादवपतेरुग्रस्य किं पौरुषम् भक्त्या तुष्यति केवलं न च गुणैर्भक्तिप्रियो माधव. So, Vyadhasya Acharanam. In Mahabharata, Dharma Vyadha is there. He was a butcher. He was cutting animals. He was selling the meat. He was a butcher. Of course, he was not killing animals. He was cutting dead animals. And that is how, the profession of a butcher is. And he was knowing Dharma so well. He was a devotee of the Lord. And then he attained the lotus feet of Krishna. What is his achara? What is his achar? He was not a Brahmana. He was butcher. It says, Vyadasya kimacharanam. Dhruvasya chavayo. What age did Dhruva have? Dhruva did not have the experience of this world. He didn't go out. He was just playing with ball at his home. He was a Kshatriya. But just because once he went out to the forest and he meditated very sincerely, he attained the Lord without experience of this world. Vidya Gajendrasya Kim. What Vidya, what knowledge, what Shastra Gnan did Gajendra have? He was an elephant, enjoying with she elephants. Just because he remembered Krishna and he, offered a lotus flower, he was liberated. Then Kubja, what Rupa she had? Kim Nama Rupa Adhikam. She had nothing. She was a hunchback woman. She was liberated by Krishna. Sudamno Dhanam. What did Sudama have? He had no wealth, but his practice of devotional service was perfect. He didn't offer anything to the Lord. He offered some chipped rice borrowed from somebody. But because of his poverty also, he was able to attain the Supreme Lord. Vamshakko Vidurasya. What Vamsha did Vidura have? He didn't have big Kshatriya or Brahmana lineage. No. He was born for Dasi, maid servant, who was used by the king. But he had no wealth, but the Lord liberated him because he was a pure devotee. Ugrasya Kim Paurusham. Ugrasena, he was not a very powerful king. He was imprisoned by his own son Kamsa. The Lord released him and he again put him on the throne. Although he was not so much capable, he had no Paurusha, but he was a devotee of the Lord. So, bhaktya tushyati kevalam nacha gunair bhakti priyo madhava. The Lord is simply satisfied with our heartfelt bhakti, devotion, which we offer to Him in the form of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevan, whatever. Nacha gunair. Not by our skillful material skills, qualities. No, He is not influenced nor impressed by our skills. He is only influenced by our bhakti, heartfelt bhakti. Bhakti Priyo Madhava. He is known as Bhakti Priyo Madhava. He is not a skill Priya Madhava. He is a Bhakti Priya Madhava. Like that, Bhagavatam says that Kirat Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Shumba Yavana Khasadaya Yennecha Paveda Pashrayasha Shuddhanti Tasme Prabhavishnavi Nama. All Mlichas, Yavanas, Kiratas, Hunandra, Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira, all kinds of outcasts outside the Vedic culture who are like demons or rakshasas, they also can be purified by taking to bhakti or the shelter of a pure devotee and become successful. So you don't have to worry about the false ego. Yes, the influence of false ego is there. What we should know, what we should understand, Krishnamurti Prabhu, is that I am insignificant, I have no power, I have no strength, I will rot here. My only hope is the shelter of the dust of the lotus feet of pure devotees and the Supreme Lord. If they want me, they will liberate me. If they don't want me, no problem. I'll continue to rot in this world, but I'll continue to serve them. Aslishya padaratham pinashtumam Adarshanan marma hatam karothu va. Padaratam pinashtu mam. Trample me with his feet and make me powder. Padaratham pinashtu. Adarshanan, let the Lord not see me for millions of lifetimes. Let him not reciprocate with me. Marma hatam karotuva. Let him break my heart to pieces, even though I may be practicing devotional service for millions of lifetimes. Let him marma hatam, destroy my heart by not reciprocating with me. Yatha tatha va vidadhatu lampata mat prananathastu sa evanapa. Ever, eternally, ever, you will continue to be my worshipable Lord, life after life, for eternity in this material world or spiritual world. That should be our prayer. That is sufficient for us to overcome false ego, and the mercy of the Lord will come one day and we will be liberated. You don't have to worry about skill, knowledge, how to overcome Maya, false ego, this, that. No. Humility. Ishwarasyapi abhimani dveshatvat dainya priyatvat. The Lord is very, very favorable to those who are dainya, who are humble. Dainya priyatvat. So like that, one should take shelter of the Spirit.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
I hope.
Prabhuji, I think I got to understand the facts. Then I have to leave that I also here. Is it not, Prabhuji?
Correct. But it is not in our hands.
Yes, I do agree.
We can desire.
Yes.
So when they asked Purandar Das, so he said, Nan hodero hodenu.
Hodenu. Okay.
So yes, we have to give up false ego. But we, by our own endeavor, we cannot.
Okay. Understand
But we pray that Krishna, please help me overcome my false ego. That should be our prayer. I have no strength, Krishna. I know I have no strength.
Yes.
On your strength, I will climb, I will cross over. The minute we think I will do, I will overpower, I will overcome, we can never overcome. Impossible.
I will fall down next day. Next moment only we will fall down.
Yes, 100% correct. We will never be able to overcome. That also does not mean like, oh, we will never be able to overcome. What to do? Let me go to the restaurant, let me go to the bar. It is impossible. No, it doesn't mean that.
Okay, I do agree. Okay.
I know that I can never overcome because the strength of the illusory potency of the Lord is very strong, but that does not mean I also compromise. No, I have great hope that Krishna will protect me. Krishna will save. Krishna will make arrangement, even if it means 100 lifetimes or 1,000,000 lifetimes. I'll wait. Like a Chataka bird, I should wait.
At his will.
Yes. Strong will, determination, like a Chataka bird. Until the raindrop comes, I will not drink water. I will be waiting. So like that, we should wait for the mercy of the Lord.
Krutakrutyascha Bharata.
Yes. Good.
Really, ಈ ಶಬ್ದ ಕೇಳಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಈಗ ನನಗೆ ಕೃತಾರ್ಥನಾದ ಇನ್ನು ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್.
Yes.
ಅರ್ಥವಾಗಿದೆ ಪ್ರಭುಗಳೇ. ಹರೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Okay, Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Making this philosophical class into a very motivational class actually. So it helps all of us to be stick to devotional service without expecting results. Just leave everything on Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Bol.
Thanks to everybody.
So if no further question, we'll end the class here. Vancha kalpitarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo
patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Anant Koti
Vaishnavi ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Shri Guru Bhyo
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Bhagavatam
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna Prabhu. Many
Hare
thanks.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna devotees. I'll end the class.
Hare Krishna.